I've always been the kind of girl that hid my face, so afraid to tell the world what I've got to say. But I have this dream right inside of me.
What is the role of the individual in society?
The individual is it's what keeps the society different from each other and keeps everyone unique.
Don't conform and be yourself.
The individual is what keeps creativity and fun in our society, because without creative individuals, it'd be a very bland and boring world.
The individual in society is what keeps society going and stops it from being at a standstill.
Well, I think the individual and society can be compared to droplets making up, say, a river or something. That the river is the droplets and the droplets make up the river. The droplets sort of reflect the river just as we reflect what society says we ought to be, but we also make up society and help determine where it goes.
Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets, look them over with care. About some you'll say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not so good street. And if you may not find any you'll want to go down, in that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And then things start to happen. Don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along, you'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go.
In his poem, Oh, the Places You'll Go, Dr. Seuss discusses the path in which individuals take in society. He challenges his intended audience to truly understand themselves and to understand the mechanics of what motivates them to prosper in society and to continue along the pathway to the places that they'll go.
The Sphinx by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson interpreted his own poem. The perception of identity unites all things and explains one by another, and the most rare and strange is equally comprehensive as the most common. But if the mind live only in particles and sees only differences, wanting the power to see the whole, all in each, then the world addresses to the mind a question it cannot answer.
The Sphinx is drowsy, her wings are furled. Her ear is heavy, she broods on the world. Who will tell me my secret the ages have kept? I awaited the seer. The fate of the man-child, the meaning of man, known fruit of the unknown, Daedalian plan. Out of sleeping awaking, out of waking asleep, life death overtaking, deep underneath deep. Erect as a sunbeam, upspringeth the palm. The elephant browses, undaunted and calm. In beautiful motion, the thrush plies his wings, kind leaves of his covert. Profounder, profounder, man's spirit must dive. To his a-rolling orbit no goal will arrive. The heavens that now draw him with sweetness untold, once found for new heavens, he spurneth the old. Pride ruined the angels, their shame then restores, and the joy that is sweetest lurks in stings of remorse. Have I a lover who is noble and free? I would he were nobler than to love me. Up rose the merry Sphinx, and crouched no more in stone. As she melted into purple cloud, she silvered, and the moon she spired into a yellow flame. She flowered in blossoms red, she flowed into a foaming wave. She stood Manadoc's head.
Thorough 1,000 voices spoke the universal Dame, who telleth one of my meanings, is master of all that I am.
My face, so afraid to tell the world what I've got to say. But I have this dream right inside of me. I'm gonna let it show. It's time so that you know. It's a bad.
What does it mean to conform?
So, become what everyone else expects you to be, I guess, like to fit in with the usual.
To conform is to transform your personality or physical attributes to match those of mainstream society.
To conform is to not be yourself but try to be everyone else.
To conform is to go with the flow.
To conform is to be like everybody else and change yourself to fit in.
Conform is to fall in line with others' ideas.
To conform is to be like everyone else, regardless of whether or not it's right or wrong.
Conforming with other people is kind of a bad idea because it makes this whole universal uniform person, and nobody acts as an independent. And if something is wrong, and there's a lot of people who know it's wrong and are doing it just because other people are doing it, it ruins the entire point of being an American and an individual.
In Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead, her entire novel kind of centers around this focus on the main character Rourke and his struggle to kind of gain his individuality and not give in to the pressuring forces of society. The novel begins with Rourke receiving a letter that states he was expelled from his prestigious architectural academy for not following the school's traditions.
Mr. Rourke, due to your complete disregard of the school's honored traditions and values, you're expelled?
So Rourke actually argues that individuals are the ones who kind of change and shape history, not societies as a whole. Just kind of saying that society as a whole thinks that we all have to do the same things, we have to act the same, we have to conform to each other, but individuals are actually the ones who make and create the change. And in order to make that change, individuals must not be afraid to step out of their comfort zones and act as their own person.
This is an example of someone who does not conform to societal pressures and who is very unique in their own person.
Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name's Kevin.
And how would you classify yourself in high
Gay!
school?
Honestly, I would just describe myself as not really fitting into any kind of social group. Like, I really just kind of stand off on my own and
in high
gay!
school.
But honestly, I just like to think of myself that I see like the beauty in like nature, and it's just really easy for me to just go anywhere and just kind of find where I belong, you know?
In high
gay!
school.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
How has it been growing up gay? When did you...
Well, it's 1969, and you know what that means.
In high
gay!
school.
Well, I was at the Stonewall the other night, and I was living it up, as I do, with my L's and my G's and my B's and my T's and my Q's. And basically, these people, they call themselves the police, and they came out of nowhere and they started roughhousing us, and honestly, I just felt so personally victimized, and I don't even know, I want to live my life, and I want to have people to accept me for who I am. And honestly, I just think that if everybody just saw me for the gay man that I am, then the world would be a fantastic place. To a People by Walt Whitman. Is reform needed? Is it through you? The greater the reform needed, the greater the personality you need to accomplish it. You. Do you not see how it would serve to have eyes, blood, complexion, clean, and sweat? Do you not see how it would serve to have such a body and a soul that when you enter the crowd, an atmosphere of desire and command enters with you, and everyone is impressed with your personality? Oh, the magnet, the flesh, over and over, go dear friend, if need be, give up all else, and commence today to inure yourself to pluck reality, self-esteem, definiteness, elevatedness. Rest not till you rivet and publish yourself of your own personality.
So in his poem To a Pupil, Whitman is speaking to the intended audience and telling them that to create change in a society, the individual must act as their own person, not conform to others. He's saying, rest not until you rivet and publish yourself of your own personality. Do not conform.
You're the voice I hear inside my head, the reason that I'm singing. I need
civil disobedience good for the society?
Yes, as long as it's peaceful and it's for the right cause.
No, because it can cause harm to others. No, people should follow the law.
Yes, it gives the police a job.
No, the laws are meant to keep order.
Yes, if it's for the right cause.
April 16, 1963. My dear fellow clergymen, while confined here in the Birmingham City Jail, I came across your recent statement calling my present activities unwise and untimely.
Martin Luther King, in his letter from Birmingham jail, addressed the clergymen, talking about how his civil disobedience, although it immediately had repercussions, it laid the groundwork for many civil rights activists in the future to learn from his work. In this case, civil disobedience was good because it was nonviolent and it was peaceful, although people used technicalities to incarcerate Mr. Martin Luther King. I don't know why I said Mr.
This is Mr. Ewing, head of the...
Chairman Emeritus.
This is Mr. Ewing, Chairman Emeritus of the History Department of North Lincoln High School. Thank you for meeting with us today.
You're very welcome.
So, Mr. Ewing, how has the concept of civil disobedience influenced American history?
Well, America does not exist without civil disobedience. If y'all remember, we talked about the republicanism, Whiggism, the belief in natural rights that come from God, from John Locke, that the purpose of having a government is to protect those rights. And if the government fails to protect those rights, people have the obligation to rebel. And that's what leads to the civil disobedience, in retrospect, leads to the founding of the United States. In the 1760s, when they started doing taxes that they say go against the rights of Englishmen, taxation without representation, that's when the protests started. Those protests going through from the Stamp Acts to the Townsend Acts and the Toggle Acts, leading to the American Revolution. Now, the term did not exist then. The term civil disobedience comes from Thoreau.
So you're saying the term we know it today, civil disobedience, without that, America wouldn't have.
America is a consequence of civil disobedience.
So what would you say the role of the individual is in society?
Well, as I told one group, there's a mythology that every country has. And a lot of American mythology is the idea, remember Herbert Hoover, the rugged individual, that America was a country built and founded and expanded by individuals. It wasn't Daniel Boone going through the Cumberland Gap and settling Kentucky. It was Daniel Boone and 500 people going through the gap. Individuals can play a role, obviously, but as they say, no man is truly an island. I think that's something.
Please step up to the office real quickly. You have
I'm a rock, I am an island. Y'all know that song? I'm sure you're impressed with my singing ability.
I actually don't. We should sing it together.
Simon Garfunkel, 1960s song. Or maybe early 70s.
So what would you say is good for the community? Do you think civil disobedience is good for the community?
Well, as many things, it's relative. There's a human instinct built in to resist change. You know, Adolf Hitler had his ideas about what would be good for Germany. Well, there have been people in Germany to the whole time and saying we've built a great country here. It really depends upon society's values. What did you say? What was that question again?
What is good for the community?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I agree with what I said a minute ago. It is relative. What I think is good may not necessarily be what other people think is good. But in the United States, we determine what's good for the community is decided by the group, as long as it does not violate the rights of the minority. That's what representative government is supposed to be about.
So why do you think that people conform?
Because they're raised to conform. You're taught to behave a certain way. A big part of American education is indoctrination into American political values. Y'all remember, we talked about Northwest Ordinance, talk about expansion. Set aside place where we have schools, public schools. Now that's not preparing you for a job. The job was get out there to farm. Well, why do you need an educated populace to farm? It's to teach you not only reading and writing, but also the values of being American, of appreciating your freedom, of representative democracy. Except, I left something out. And another reason that people conform is peer pressure.
Yes.
No person is truly an island. I didn't answer your last question. I thought you were lying about me. I didn't answer your last question.
Hi, I'm here with our literary expert, Ms. Dellinger. How do you think literature has impacted civil disobedience in America?
When enlightened thinkers such as Henry David Thoreau and John Locke, they thought and wrote about civil disobedience and how citizens have a social contract with their government to protect natural rights in which American society still abides.
How has literature impacted the role of people in community and society?
Well, Thomas Paine's Common Sense argued that citizens do not have to put up with the corruption of governing forces. American communities believe that their role in society is determined by their relationship to their government.
What is good for the community?
Maintaining civil order and keeping productive leaders in power.
What happens as a result of conformity?
When dystopian novels such as 1984 by George Orwell and Anthem by Ayn Rand, conformity ruins individual beliefs and leads to systematic corruption.
I need to sit in this seat. You belong in the back of the bus.
No.
Hello, ma'am. We've been called here because of a disturbance. Are you not giving up your seat?
No.
And why is that?
Because I can sit here.
Ma'am, you're black.
But I'm a person,
So?
so I can sit here.
Ma'am, if you're not going to move, we will move you by force.
I'm not moving.
Ma'am, get off the bus!
Get off the bus! We don't want you here!
Come on, Rosa! Hands up. You're gonna go to jail for a long time, Missy. No due process in here. Okay, let's go. So you're like news anchors. Hello. So right now we're going to be discussing an analysis of Rosa Parks' civil disobedience. Basically, there are good and bad aspects of civil disobedience. Sometimes people need to give up personal freedoms in order for the greater good to happen. And in this case, Rosa Parks protested this intolerable kind of segregation, and she was showing that in order for things, wide-scale, national level things to happen, they need to start in like grassroots. They need to start at very like small events. She's an inspiration to us all.
Her sacrifice started a domino effect of civil rights movement, and it pioneered the movement into a greater good for all America, causing our rights as minorities and women and everything to come together.
Society has been forever changed by this event, and Rosa Parks continues to live on in history and in textbooks and in classrooms all across America, teaching us valuable lessons on what it means to be an individual.
Amazing, we're done. Let's go.